I'm going to show you how to change a tire in case you get a flat on the side of the road or you just need to change a tire for any reason. So I'm going to use an example of my car, and it's kind of cold out, so we are very warm, not really. And we're going to try to do this before it rains. Okay, so I'm going to example with my front wheel. There's a couple important things to note. First of all, your vehicle should be in park, and your parking brake should be on, which may be a hand e-brake or a foot brake. So we're going to go do that right now. In my case, it is a foot brake, so that is down here. So I'm just going to push it on, and then you may have a hand brake that would be over here. You would just raise it up. It's in park. We're good to go. Second thing you should do is, if you have the option to, you should always brace the wheel that you aren't changing. So I'm going to brace my rear wheel to make sure that the car does not roll back once I lift it off the ground. So I'm just going to place it behind my wheel and then make sure that it's firmly there. It should roll back, and it should not continue to roll if it gets on the loose. You may have to improvise if you're on the side of the road. So I'm going to try to do this with the tools that you will have in your vehicle. So where you can find those is usually in your trunk. So we're just going to go to the trunk. So when you open your trunk, there's usually like a cloth flap. You're going to lift it up, and then that's where you're going to find your tools to remove. So this is your jack, and there's your tool that's going to go onto your lug nuts, as well as raise and lower the jack. And then underneath that, I have my spare. So spare tools. Fun fact, if you have a BMW, you will not have these. You will have a run flat tire unless you've replaced your tires and did not get run flat tires. In which case, hope you have AMA. So you on a run flat can actually go for a short distance until you get to a location where you can get a new tire. For the sake of the video, because I don't actually need to change my tire, I'm just going to re-put my tire back on. It's the exact same as a spare, just the spare is skinnier and you're not supposed to drive on it, but saving time. Okay, so we'll take this, and we'll take this fancy tool and go over here, and we'll hope that it fits underneath my car.
Okay.
Okay, so I have the luxury of a mat. You might not. Maybe you have a yoga mat. I don't know. I don't want to sit on the ground. Clearly my car is a lot lower than most people's cars would be to do this. So you'll have a lot more space, but you'll also have to lift it a lot higher than mine. So you're going to want to put this on the lift points. You're not going to want to put it on, like, this is a plastic molding. If you try to lift your car up on that, it's going to go very sideways very fast, and you're going to do a lot of damage to your vehicle. So you're going to want to line the jack up with these 2 points in here, so we see them right here. So this is where you want your jack to hit the lift point. So you're going to just hand tighten with your hand until you hit something. You can use your hand. It's kind of hard to do with the camera. Until you can't really tighten it anymore with your hands. Okay, so now we have our jack in place. As you can see, I can barely move it. I've hand tightened it. So now we're going to get out this handy dandy tool that we pulled out of our trunk, and you can actually do that with it. So this, in theory, although it's not going to be the case for my car, fits not only on this bolt on your jack, but it actually fits on your lug nuts. It's not going to work with my car because I have different lug nuts. That is your lug nut, by the way. This is a lug nut. So certain cars have different types of lug nuts. If you have a Volkswagen, I'm sorry, this isn't going to make any sense because everything's different. It does not work on my car anymore. So we are going to use a different tool that does the exact same thing with my wheel nut. All right, so now I'm going to use this, which is essentially the same as that. I have slightly less leverage, which is beneficial for the video. You'll have more leverage. Leverage is key. So we are going to, with you don't have to actually use this multi-bolt system. Oh my god. Who put these on here? Okay, let's try a different one. Be a damsel in distress and get someone to change your tire for you. Yeah, now we're talking. Big money motivator. Oh my god, I'm so scared. Okay. One bolt loose. Apparently, you're supposed to do this in a star pattern. Although ultimately, if you just get the thing off, I'm proud. Okay. Okay. Use leverage is the key. All right. I needed a lot of leverage. So now that we've got our bolts loosened, we're gonna raise it. We're gonna put this off to the side because I can use my other tool now, which is this guy. I'm gonna open it up. Oh, get it on here. Okay. So with this tool, since it pivots, you can just go around. Instead of taking it all the way off, go around. Okay, so for me, this is good because you just need to have your tire off the ground and then you can remove your tire and put the new one on. So you just have to make sure this is off the ground. I've never actually had to change my own tire before. I've known how to do it, but I've never actually done it in practice. This is interesting. Okay, so we have our first lug nut off. Now you can see it's just literally a thread in there. And now we're gonna work on our star pattern. So we're gonna go up here. Now we are going to make sure that we don't drop it. Pick it up, roll it off. That's why you don't want it too high in the ground too, because I didn't have to drop it. I didn't really have to take a lot of the weight of it. Then you're going to get your spare, which, like I said, I'm not going to be putting an actual spare on. I'm just going to re-put this tire on. And you would get it as close to these as you can. And then lift the tire up and you line up one of the holes. And there you go. Push it on. Grab one of your nuts. And you can use the tool, tighten it up. So now we're just gonna flip it the other way, which you won't have to do because you won't have this tool. We're tightening now. So we're just gonna give it a good little tighten in the air. And then we're gonna give it another tighten on the ground to make sure we have it as tight as we possibly can. So you make sure everything is away from underneath. Put this on. Okay, now I'm ready tightening. There we go. I'm just gonna go as much as I can by hand. So that's probably good. Ta-da! You have changed a tire. I am tired now. Changing a tire is tiring. Just make sure you loosen it before you take it off the ground. And when you do the star pattern to take your bolts off. And then make sure you tighten them once you have it back on the ground. And then, like I said, they need to be torqued. So go to a dealership or something. Get them torqued. I can't tell you what they need to be torqued to because every vehicle's different. Big money motivator. I did it completely unnecessarily.